Hello and welcome to Wise Woman Television. My name is Errity Green and I'm so glad to have you here. First, I encourage you to like and subscribe. Liking ensures that this kind of message and this kind of support reaches out through a ripple effect, hopefully across the globe, so that we can reach and awaken more and more people. People need support now than ever, so you and I can make that possible. But it does require each other. Please, by all means, let me know how I can support you in the comments below. Also, I encourage you to subscribe. This is your commitment to yourself so that every week, or even more so when a video comes available, you are notified, and that way you can return to your own growth and your own evolution and whatever it is that you might need in terms of how this channel can support you, because it will. And when that notification pops up, it's a reminder for you to return to yourself, and here we create the space for that to be possible. So I encourage you to like and subscribe. And now that that is over, I want to provide you with our weekly wisdom. So I did pull some cards and I have some messages in store for us. The first message is really seeing the perfection of your life. So becoming present and available to what is here and what is being offered. And I feel like this is a standard issue message that we hear in spiritual, awakened, or woke conscious communities, just how perfect everything is, and be grateful. This isn't something that you can just make happen or force. You can't force gratitude. I am not one to believe in affirmations and superficial mantras and things like that you don't feel deep in your core. So if you aren't feeling gratitude, your first step would be to uncover why. What is that resistance? Perhaps it's because you aren't experiencing what you want to experience. You haven't brought to fruition something that's important to you. You aren't living a life that's aligned to who you are and what you value. And these are all justifiable reasons for not feeling grateful. But it doesn't mean that you can't also be and feel grateful for what you have. So when we ask to experience something, a feeling, a state of being, an experience in our lives, in our physical lives, we're always going to experience first what is in the way of that. So if we ask to experience gratitude, we are first going to experience anything in the way of gratitude, which might be resistance, as an example. And so you want to create space to explore that resistance gently, again, not forcefully. It can be through tools like cards or setting intentions or a ritual or even a yoga practice, setting your intention and then seeing what comes up for you during that yoga practice. However, it's worthwhile to explore what's in the way of that gratitude or what's in the way of presence in and of itself. This talks about how your life is perfect as it is. How can you find the gifts that are already here? Most often, the reason we can't feel or fully immerse ourselves in our everyday lives is because we aren't present. We're living in a commentary in our minds. We're living in our ongoing judgment and evaluation of how things are, how they should be. We are daydreaming about how we would prefer things to be. We are numbing ourselves out from our own feelings, allowing us to experience the awe and the reverence that's literally right here in all of our moments. We are numbing ourselves out from negative feelings, so we're not feeling good, we're not feeling well, we're not feeling happy, whatever those feeling states are, again, that we all aspire to, or those experiences that we wish we could be in all the time, which, let's get real, that's not the human condition, so it's not going to happen. So part of that work is acceptance, accepting that the human condition is here. It is duality. It is both light and shadow, good and bad, beautiful and ugly. That can help support an ability to be with what is right here. And that's actually a deeper conversation for another time. With that said, there's a lot of things that can come in the way of presence. And if we simply choose to just be, and then also be with what comes up and allow things to pass even. So if thoughts do come up, judgments about what you want, feelings that you don't love, just be with that too. Invite that in. Now, I will say, if this has never happened for you and it's not a practice that's normal for you, it's hard. It's tough. It's tough work in the beginning to be present to your life. It sounds like something so simple. Just be present. Enjoy. And it's like, well, I could if this other stuff wasn't coming up, right? And so sometimes in the beginning it requires support. It might look like learning to feel safe in your body. that can require work on your own, with a therapist, with a mentor, with some kind of support network, whether formal or informal. Sometimes it does require more work to feel safe and enter into this body. I'm never going to be one on this channel to ever just just do it, or just be present, because for most of us who are in this human condition and none of us are immune to it, we've experienced wounding, trauma, whatever. And so we have these thought loops, and we have these emotions tied to these thought loops and vice versa. And so to ask someone to be present or to fully experience the perfection of their lives, it's not always possible to do that right away. And so whatever it is that you need, I encourage you to pursue that, so that you can find presence in your life. For me, it required a lot of just growth, natural growth and evolution over the course of my life, over many, many years. But it was also letting go of things like a desire to control, or allowing thoughts to pass without identifying with them and getting stuck. There's a whole there's a repertoire of skills and tools and knowledge and awareness that can support you with that. And that's a much deeper conversation. And again, that would require probably more formal work. And there are ways to work with me. I have a book also that dives into some of this. So I encourage you to explore all of that below. But this is work you can do on your own, as long as you're feeling safe and that you're not hitting upon big trauma or wounding that might require the support of a professional. I've worked with mentors many times, and for I think 6 years I worked with mentors consecutively, one right after the next, and there was a big gap in the amount of time that I took to do the work on my own, and that allowed a whole new set of wisdom and gifts and pearls to be gained. So there is benefit in both, but there is a level of safety that might be required. Now, I will also mention recognizing too, not just the presence and that part of the conversation, but also realizing how perfect what is happening right now, whatever that is for you uniquely, how perfect it is in the grand scheme and sum of your life. The composite picture of your life, that whatever you are experiencing right now is perfect and needed for you uniquely. Look at what is being given, look at what is being gained. You are being guided to look at what is before you. So our present moment is always what informs us as to what is most important right now. So if it's your child screaming in your face, that's it. If it's your belly that's hungry, that's it. If it's a news article that came up and triggered you, that's it. If it's a Facebook post that inspired you, that's it. And the point there is that your present moment, there is a grand, beautiful, intelligence and synergy that is happening before you at all times, that is orchestrated just for you, and you will gain exactly what you need and or be informed of or made aware of exactly what you need right now, right here in your present moment. And not just this present moment, but also the present season of your life. So if we were to extrapolate just the present moment here that we're talking about and seeing how perfect that is and how intelligent it is and all it has to offer, and then make that even bigger and say, okay, this present season of your life, through the sea crisis and everything that's happening, there is something being offered to you, and see, recognize, realize how perfect it truly is. Perhaps your life has changed dramatically, perhaps it hasn't changed at all. Either way, whatever is before you is perfect and what is required for you for your next step. I will offer and suggest that so many of us are being offered opportunities to step into our truest power, our highest potential, and our highest expression. You are being asked fully to step into yourself, to step into your shine, so to speak, and really step into your legacy work even. And it doesn't have to sound or be as big and monumental as it is, because it just requires you to be you. No effort outside of you just being you, but it can feel big. And I talked about that, I think, in one of the other videos prior. I think it might have been last week's weekly wisdom, so I would look into that, where we talked about the resistance around a higher calling. So go take a look at that if you have resistance, but it doesn't have to be anything big. It's just you being you, but it's you stepping into a bigger version of you, if that makes sense. So recognizing how perfect it is, see where you're being guided, what you're being guided to, be be aware of or become aware of, and what you're being guided to step into. It should be a natural next step in evolution of yourself. It should not feel something that's hard or effortful. If something is feeling hard or effortful, that is your ego trying to push or force something that's not real or true for you yet or right now. Where you are at is perfect and well-timed and literally perfect with the orchestration and the unfolding with all that is. So you can trust that. I can trust that. Also, though, again, looking to what it is now that we've been given this pause, sort of this gap or recalibration between worlds, where all of the old systems and structures that are no longer aligned with the higher values and the higher good that we're stepping into with this next chapter and what we're evolving into as humans and spiritual beings. It's recognizing what it is that you want to come from that. So what do you want to come as a result of this shift, this change, this pause, and giving yourself permission to step into that. There will be resistance. There will be some things in the way, like we talked about and alluded to earlier. If you need support, find it, get it, make it happen. You can follow me and find communities on Facebook, on YouTube. I mean, the world is at our fingertips now more than ever. So if you need support, get it. I know it's tough to do this work, especially when we feel like we are alone or that we feel like we don't have a community or a support system, and we are running into those inner blocks within ourselves. It can feel insurmountable even when it's not, and it's just requiring us to be ourselves. That's what's crazy. The mind can create mountains out of molehills. It can also be as easy as 1, 2, 3 ABC, right? So I'm kind of speaking to it feeling so hard and all of this stuff, and I'm giving voice to that. But for so many people and for so many years of my life, it was simple. It was ABC 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, I'll just do this. Simple, right? That comes as a result of more fluidity, more flow, not identifying with the obstacle, not identifying with those blocks, not identifying with the resistance, and instead more so having greater belief in yourself and confidence and really connecting with the flow of the moment. It's possible for you to step into this very easily too. But I like to speak to the potential hardship for those people who are like, listen, lady, I like what you're saying here, but easier said than done. And I hear you. So the next message is what you want wants you. And I feel like we hear about this so much, and it's this, it kind of, to me, can feel very abstract and conceptual, but whatever it is that you want is what is meant for you. It's your destiny. Whatever it is you want, you're meant to have. You know, there's so much to say on desire, and that can be a whole conversation in and of itself. It's the tip of the iceberg. And again, you can check out my book below if you want to read more about desire and how I see it and how I utilize desire and like or prefer to connect more with values, our inner values, our core values. However, what we want is our destiny. It is for you. So there's no reason to have to justify it or give yourself permission or say it's not possible or whatever it is that we tell ourselves, because it is meant for you and it's always on its way. We are growing into it. Oftentimes, we have these big dreams, big visions, big desires, and I guess we kind of have this idea that it's instantaneous or overnight. We see these big overnight success stories and we assume that that's how it's supposed to look. So then when it takes a little bit longer, we assume it's not for us or it's not going to happen, when in truth, it's always on its way, period. Hands down, done deal, it's on its way, period, right? Now, there is a little bit of there's a qualm or reservation I have with that, and that is sometimes things aren't meant for you, so it depends on what are you identifying with. Again, are you identifying with your old conditioning that says like fast cars, lots of girls or men, drinks and big TV and football? Like and football's cool, okay, you know, if that's your thing, that's fine. But what I'm saying is it your conditioning that's telling you that you're meant for this, or is it your true soul core, your truest self, your truest authenticity? What is your deep down truest desires? Those are what are meant for you. That is your destiny, and usually it has to do with your greater purpose and legacy and how you can be of service, your creative expression, the way that you express yourself. It's something along those lines more so than an outcome or a result that comes as a result of the physical reality. It's not the outcome that comes normally in terms of like what's meant for us, because that's up in the air. We don't really know What's going to go down? None of us knew this sea crisis was going to go down, right? But what we can count on is what's inside of us and what it is that you want to do, whether it's singing songs, in a big way, or if it's being on a world stage, sharing motivational speech, if it's being an influencer of whatever kind, if it is your art, who knows, whatever your thing is, that is meant for you. We can't guarantee the outcome, but we can guarantee what our own expression is, and that is meant for you. And a lot of the accolades and a lot of the outcomes are meant for you too, but trust that the world's going to shift and change, and this collective co-creation that's happening here, guided by spirit, by life itself, by the physical plane and its own laws, as well as all of the 7 billion people and animals and so forth that inhabit this planet. There's a lot going on and a lot of variables that we can't account for, but we can account for what our dream is, and that is real, and that is meant for you. And know that, and I love this next message, that's what gives you precisely what you want. So the wealth or the fulfillment or whatever it is that you seek, that you crave, that you know is yours, that is meant for you, that happens as a result of stepping into what is yours and what is true. All that abundance, those material possessions or even immaterial experiences, those state of beings, qualities, things you want to feel, things you want to experience, things you want to have, that comes when you step into your calling. Oftentimes, a lot of the fruits of your labor that are more material in nature become more of a bonus and less of a need, because once you're living truest to yourself, you feel the wealth of spirit, the wealth of yourself. You feel an inner abundance. So all that other stuff seems kind of frivolous and unnecessary, but hey, it's an awesome bonus, right? You might feel self-possessed and sort of whole and complete all on your own, yet of course it's awesome to have blankety blankety blank, whatever it is that you want in terms of material desires. But know the abundance that you desire, inner and outer, the abundance that you desire in your inner and outer worlds happen as a result of stepping into what it is that you truly want, giving yourself permission to dream and to live and embody that dream, to live and embody your legacy, which of course is connected again to what we were talking about, the perfection of your life and what this time and space, this season, this era, this chapter has opened up for you and every other person on this planet. All of these structures are falling away that are not aligned with these greater realities. I don't like putting a lot of judgments around it, but it's like these other things no longer align with what humanity truly deeply wants. It's no longer aligned with what Mother Earth truly deeply wants, with what Great Spirit would truly deeply want. It's just not who we are. It's not in harmony with all that is. So they're all falling away, so that way we can step into what is true for us, and that requires you to step into your piece of the puzzle here, to embody your piece of the puzzle, to step into the cosmic blueprint, to your soul blueprint, mission, contract, commitment. If you believe in that, you do not have to believe in that. Whatever is coming up for you when I share this, whether it's an invitation or resistance, explore that, or simply let it be and move on, okay? The next message, again, is allowing yourself to dream and dream big. What is your big dream? Okay, and these are messages to me as much as to you and every single person who's watching here. So I encourage you, share this message if it is supportive to you, or you think it would be supportive to a family or to a friend, family member or a friend. This kind of message and wisdom is what is needed for the world right now, and that's why I created this channel, actually, to do this work, to share this work, to have everyone step into this greater awareness so that we can bring New Earth to fruition. If you want to know more about New Earth and what I think New Earth is, because I think that, again, can sound very conceptual, and I really like to ground things. Even though I'm a big picture person, I really also like to be practical. It feels very weird to be both people. Go to that video. That video is on the channel. I think it's What is New Earth Anyway? Allow yourself to dream big. There is something in yourself, even if it's a seed, even if it's a kernel, even if it's as small as a grain of sand, and it has a massive vision for you and for the world, okay? Because what happens is when you step into this dream for yourself, or this creative expression that is yours, this legacy work that is yours, then that's a part of this big dream that you have, right? There's usually a cause or a sense of purpose within your legacy work, your creative expression. Some people have to dig for that, some people don't. Some people let their art be their art and speak for itself. It doesn't have to be a cause or anything like that. That's fine if that's you. So whether or not that is something that's important for you, it's a part of a bigger dream. It is a part of a bigger dream and awakening for this planet. So the longer that you hold off and wait, the longer this dream takes to materialize for both you and for the world. Recognizing that they're both one and the same, and that when you heal yourself, aka do the work, whatever that is for you right now, for yourself, you are also creating a ripple effect around the globe for all people, for all beings, and throughout all of the multiverses of whatever this cosmos is populated with or made up of. Like, it's so important that you be you and step into you fully, because there's a greater dream and possibility at work right now that supports all people. And so dream big, know that your work is legacy work, and that it not only helps you, it helps your children, your children's children, the children that haven't been born yet, your children that haven't been born yet. This is a legacy that is imparted upon all of time and all of creation, now and forevermore. So it's not even just for right now, it's for forever. And really allow yourself to receive that, and how huge and monumental that is for yourself and for all that is. Like, that's huge. And it's something so simple as just being ourselves. Well, shoot, I can do that all day, but not really, right? Because we do run into obstacles. But please, really, I don't want to even say that we have to limit ourselves and say, but not really, because really, right? I hope you all caught that. And so the final message here is a lot of people are experiencing some pain, some anguish, old sorrows. There's a lot of stuff that's being released and let go. Old identities, old patterns, old paradigms. Layers are just sloughing away and being released. Things that were true for you before are not true for you now. There's also a lot of grief coming up for a lot of people for a lot of different reasons. You know, when we have time to sit with ourselves and face our daily frustrations in a more intimate way, shit comes up that normally wouldn't be there, or we wouldn't focus on or have the space to give it. And stuff comes up that normally we would numb out through some kind of distraction. Whereas right now we've been in a big pause, so all that stuff is coming up to the surface. So it's sort of like the great ocean, and then we have all of this stuff, sort of sunken ships, right? History, who knows all the different things that are underneath the surface of the water, from unfortunately plastic and pollution and so on and so forth, that now that we're sitting still are all coming up to the surface. Let it bubble up, give it the space that it needs, continue to follow along with videos like this or whatever support you might need in your world to make this a little bit easier and more graceful, to make it as fun and playful and inspiring as possible. It does not always feel that way, and I am sorry. I'm sorry for myself and for you that it does stink sometimes. You know, it's not easy always. Sometimes it is, but let this sorrow, let whatever is coming up for you, number one, be a sign of growth and change and progress for everything that's dying and falling away for you, everything that's dying and falling away for the collective. Know that it's purposeful and it's actually a sign of progress, growth, evolution, and good change. And also let your sorrow point for you toward what it is that you truly want. Let it help you identify and connect with your values, what is important for you, and what you want the world to look like. So there's a lot of sorrow right now, not just around public health and personal health, but there's a lot of sorrow around potential loss of personal liberties and governmental control. So let that align you with what it is that you truly want to see and how you want the world to be, and then help create a world where all of that is obsolete and irrelevant. Help create a world where you and your ideals and your ideas and your philosophies and your values belong. Create a world where you belong. And that happens through creating a world that is aligned with our truth and what we truly want. And we can connect with that vision and what that truth is by connecting with our sorrows and our pains and our anguish over what's happening. You know, it can hit a lot of us to our core, and it has for many of us. So connect with that sorrow and dream a world into being, and begin to do the work, the legwork of that, so that we can all together create a world where all of this stuff is obsolete, where it's all irrelevant, where the pains and the things that we don't love or like about our current world don't matter, because we've created something else in its place. And I don't speak to specific frustrations or upsets, because number one, each of us have different causes, different values, different belief systems about what should, what things should look like or how it should be. So I don't point it out for that reason, because when I share with you, you know what that is for you. And also I want to keep these videos and this support as positive and uplifting and inspiring and encouraging as possible. We can let all this stuff, this gunk, come up from underneath the surface. You know, that's needed, and that's an important part of the process, but we don't want to live there. And so the vision that I got when I've been sort of diving through some of this is, it was like I saw myself on an island, and there was like immediate deep water right next to that island, and it was like every single time I jumped in, it was significant effort and energy to get back out and up onto ground. And I jumped back in, significant effort to get back up and on ground. And what that told me was it's a huge energy expenditure and a huge cost and sacrifice to keep jumping and diving in when we can just stand on the island and look at the water, right? So we can create a space within ourselves to be able to observe without disappearing and getting immersed, lost, or even drowning or suffocating, or however you might experience pain, anguish, that kind of depth or sorrow. We don't have to get lost in it and live there, pack up our bags and just, all right, taking up residence. Instead, take up residence on that beach. You can look at it, even allow some of that stuff to wash up and over you, but you don't have to disappear into it, get immersed or lost in it, because we want to be on the island, right? Creating this new world and stepping into what it is that we want to create. And even if you don't feel that sense of purpose or drive that's connected to a greater, larger purpose, higher purpose, grander vision, I know you connect with what you want. And if you don't, then there is potentially a lack of inspiration there and a lack of creative expression. So getting to know yourself and what you want, what you like, what stirs and moves you and turns you on, that would be an important part and process of your journey. So that's what I have to share with you today. I encourage you again to check out all the different ways we can remain connected beneath this video, and I look forward to seeing you next week.